Now, I want you to focus on this massive number right here, 0. In global football, 0 is usually that one number you desperately want to avoid, right? It means no goals, no points, absolutely no progress. But today, I'm asking you to focus on this 0 because it actually represents a genuinely unprecedented anomaly in the entire history of World Cup qualifying. Really, it's the foundation of one of the most fascinating narratives heading into the entire tournament.
So, what does this 0 actually mean? Well, Tunisia just qualified for the 2026 World Cup with 9 wins, 1 draw, 22 goals scored, and, you guessed it, exactly 0 goals conceded. The Eagles of Carthage pulled off something no national team has ever done in a World Cup qualification campaign. Literally never. They navigated a grueling 10-match gauntlet against teams like Equatorial Guinea and Namibia, and they somehow reached the finals without letting a single solitary goal slip past them. It's an absolutely historic clean sheet.
Okay, let's get right into it. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to completely break down Tunisia's 2026 World Cup outlook. We're looking at the ultimate dark horse of the tournament. This is a team that is statistically impenetrable, deeply complex, and heading to North America with an ironclad defense and, honestly, everything to prove.
Section 1. Tactical DNA and History, the Giant Slayers.
To really grasp how they built this modern defensive wall, we kind of have to look back at their incredibly rich Pan-African football heritage. They've actually built up this long-standing international reputation for being an absolute nightmare for seeded, top-tier teams to play against. They've really evolved from continental pioneers into true giant slayers. Just look at the track record. Back in 1978 in Argentina, they made history as the first African and Arab nation to ever win a World Cup match, just stunning Mexico 3-1. Fast forward a bit to 2018, and they grabbed their second historic victory against Panama. But it's this final point on the timeline that really truly demands respect. Qatar, 2022. They defeated the reigning world champions France 1-0. Make no mistake, this is a squad entirely capable of toppling the absolute best in the world on any given day.
So how exactly do they pull this off? Well, it all boils down to their core tactical identity, the compact defensive block. When they're out of possession, Tunisia typically sets up in a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3 shape, but that quickly drops into a deeply entrenched 4-5-1. You see, their philosophy does not rely on flashy, possession-heavy football. Instead, the defenders and midfielders stay tightly organized in their own half. They drop deep, they totally deny space, they clog up those central channels, and they force their opponents out wide. It's incredibly disciplined structurally, highly organized, and honestly, it is just incredibly frustrating for attacking teams to try and break down.
Section 2. The Squad and the Coach. Iron shields and blunted spears.
All right, so here is the central paradox of this entire team. It's this fascinating, honestly, almost painful contrast between their world-class defensive stats and their, well, glaring offensive limitations. On one hand, you've got historic defensive excellence. 0 goals conceded in 10 qualifiers, a literal iron shield. But on the flip side, they possess 0 proven world-class strikers. Get this, their top scorer during that entire undefeated qualifying run, netting 8 goals, was Ali Abdi. And Ali Abdi is a left back. Now don't get me wrong, it's fantastic that a defender is so dynamic going forward, but structurally, it is incredibly rare and highly problematic that a team's most prolific attacking threat is coming from their defensive line. Their primary striker option right now, Hazem Mastouri, plays in the Russian second tier, and that just highlights this massive void they have in elite finishing capability.
But hey, while they might be missing that clinical finisher up top, their midfield engine room, that is an entirely different story. Let me just rattle off some of these names to show you the caliber we're dealing with here. First, you have Captain Ellyes Skhiri from Eintracht Frankfurt. He acts as the tactical backbone and brings vital Champions League experience to the pitch. Then there's Hannibal Mejbri at Burnley, bringing this immense, energetic Premier League pedigree. You've got Rani Khedira at Union Berlin. He's actually the brother of World Cup winner Sami Khedira, offering just incredible positional discipline. And let's not forget Ismail Garbi, a 21-year-old technical playmaker developing at Augsburg. So yeah, it's an engine room absolutely packed with elite Bundesliga and English football talent.
Now, tasked with managing all of this talent is head coach Sabri Lamouchi. And guys, he is racing against a serious ticking clock here. Following the dismissal of Sami Trabelsi after a pretty disappointing AFCON 25 campaign, Lamouchi was appointed just months before this World Cup. In fact, he has only managed 2 preparatory matches.
This introduces a massive structural vulnerability for the Eagles. I mean, going to a global tournament, tactical cohesion and set-piece routines take months to build. Lamouchi is practically no time at all to actually implement his system.
But despite all this intense pressure, Lamouchi is actually bringing an incredibly grounded, pragmatic approach to the job. He literally told his team, "I say to my players that we certainly can't win every match. However, we have to give it our all." It's a really honest philosophy for a coach dealing with such limited prep time. Now, I should probably also mention there was a bit of fan controversy surrounding his appointment. That stems from his playing days when he actually opted to represent the French national team instead of Tunisia. But look, as the tournament looms, his sole focus right now is uniting the squad and maximizing that incredible defensive structure.
Section 3. The Group F Gauntlet. Sizing up the competition.
So it's time to meet the antagonists. Let's take an objective look at the incredibly steep mountain Tunisia has to climb in the group stage. If we just look at the rankings, they reveal a massive 30-place gap between Tunisia and the group favorites, the Netherlands, who are sitting way up there at 7th in the world. Then you've got Japan at 18th, bringing immense technical sophistication and pressing intensity. You have Sweden at 38th, armed with incredibly potent strikers like Viktor Gyökeres. And down at 44th, Tunisia enters strictly as the defensive dark horse. They are, objectively speaking, the lowest ranked and least attacking team in this entire gauntlet.
Section 4. The Path to Advancement. The 2026 Opportunity.
So, given all that, is advancing just totally impossible? No way, not at all. Because the 2026 World Cup features an expanded 48-team format. What this means is that not only do the top 2 teams in a group advance, but so do the 8 best third-place teams. This expansion gives Tunisia their greatest historic opportunity yet to finally reach the knockout rounds. So, let's walk through this precise 3-step game plan. Step 1. On June 14th, they need to beat Sweden in Monterrey. Honestly, it's their most winnable game against a team that barely qualified via the playoffs. Step 2. On June 20th, use that compact defensive block to completely frustrate a technically superior Japan into a draw. And Step 3. On June 25th, ensure they secure at least 4 points overall. Now, 4 points is exactly what they earned back in 2022 when they were eliminated. But in this new format, 4 points could absolutely be enough to survive as a top third-place team.
Of course, we do have to ground ourselves in the cold realities of the data here. Statistically speaking, an early group stage exit remains the most probable outcome, sitting at roughly 75%. They're facing teams stacked with highly creative attackers who know exactly how to dismantle deep defensive blocks over a 90-minute match. But I want you to focus on that 25% sliver. Because that is real. Their historic, entirely unprecedented defensive wall gives them a genuine, mathematically sound 1 in 4 shot at making history and escaping the group stage for the very first time.
Which brings us to the ultimate question we're left with today. Will the Eagles of Carthage finally break through that group stage ceiling? Or is their total lack of a clinical attack going to clip their wings when it matters most? They really are the ultimate paradox of modern international football. They're a team that proved to the world they simply cannot be scored on. But structurally, they struggle to score themselves. It's going to be absolutely fascinating to watch this dynamic unfold on the pitch, and it all starts with that crucial opening match against Sweden.